Okay, and we are live. So, welcome everyone to another session brought to you by ClickGuard. And today we have the opportunity to talk with Mark Ambrose. He is the CEO and founder of BattlePlan. BattlePlan is a full stack digital marketing company that hopefully we're going to learn a lot more about soon. And he is calling us in from sunny California. So, welcome, Mark, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. And as opposed to my background here, it's actually not so sunny today in sunny California. But yeah, thanks for having me on the show, Jason. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark. So, just give us a brief intro to who you are, and tell us a little bit about your agency, about BattlePlan, what you guys do.
Sure. Well, as you can see, I've orbited the sun a few times, and about 30 years experience in sales and marketing. Another decade or so in management. Had 3 businesses, had an e-commerce business for about 7 years. So about 4 years ago, I saw that the smartphone and high-speed internet is really changing the world, and decided to use my old skills of web design, SEO, e-commerce, and get into digital marketing. I was looking for, we've been on an economic boom for 10 plus years. So I was also looking at who I wanted to be my client, who is recession proof. Googled that information and found home services companies was a big one. And I used to work as a plumber's helper back in high school, and for a remodeling company also back then. I really love the home services industry, the backbone really of every country. Keep everything running in our houses, buildings, and such.
Yep.
So that's where we went after to provide SEO, web design, digital marketing services to home service companies.
Awesome. So that's pretty segue into our second question. So your industry is home services. You've niched your industry, which we'll talk about later. Right. And what services do you provide? I mean, obviously you said web design, you said SEO, Google Ads, so pretty much full stack, right?
Yeah, we've expanded as we have gone on. So initially it was pretty much SEO. I thought I was going to get into video, but I realized I really don't have any experience in video and don't really know that. So we outsourced that where needed. But our skill set is web design, SEO, and Google Ads management.
Great. And just to give us an idea, like would you be what size like home services company would you be talking to generally? Like, are they like one-man bands, or are they like 3 or 4 guys, or maybe a little group?
Yeah, we have a little of everything, but I'm finding that I really like helping the guy who's got just maybe 2 or 3 trucks, 3 or 4 other guys. I really like, so I've already helped a few of those guys get to multi-million-dollar businesses. And so I found that I really like that. We have a couple of larger companies and 8-figure companies, and they've got their act together. The smaller guys need help with systems, so we don't just do digital marketing. We do things we don't really get paid for, and that's recommending CRMs, sales.
Yeah, like the sales like more the sales process. And
exactly, like maybe they don't need more leads. Maybe what they really need is a better systems to channel their leads. Right? So we try to look at everything.
Awesome. So it's interesting, we talk to a lot of different people, and one thing I start to see in common is as you really identify your niche in your industry that you're going to focus on, you start to see common traits, and one of the questions we had for you today, Mark, was what common misconceptions do you find that your customers have about specifically Google Ads when it comes to talking to you for the first time? Like, maybe for your industry it's very different to somebody else, so that's why we like to talk and find out more about your niche. So what would be like that common misconception they have, and that you literally have to say like, hey, wait, stop, that's not like this?
Right. Yeah, sure. Every industry is going to be different. In the home services industry, these guys and girls are usually great at their trade and not excelling in business management, certainly not Google's ads management. So I think for misconceptions in Google Ads, a couple of things I would say is we commonly get the question, should I do SEO? ads, or social media marketing? And the answer is really all three, right? So ads get you immediate leads. SEO and social media marketing builds your lead generation over time, builds your brand over time. So I think there's a misconception that maybe they just need to do one or the other. And if you really want to succeed for long term, you need to do all three. I think another very big misconception is sort of like set it and forget it.
Sorry,
And
can I just make a parenthesis before you move on to the second one? That
Sure.
first misconception is that they just want quick wins and they're not like prepared to invest in like the long-term gain. Would that be it?
That's the most common mindset is I just need leads now. And that's fine. You know, you got to get the trucks out there and the guys working. But you don't want Google, Home Advisor, Angie's List, you know, wherever you're getting your leads from to be in 100% control of your business, right? And we can all see Google Ads is changing, taking away really keyword management from the agency and the business owner and putting it in the hands of their machine learning, which I can't say I'm the biggest fan of. So you do SEO and social media marketing to build your brand internally, email marketing. So you have, more control, more diversity of where your lead generation is coming from.
Right. Sorry about the interruption. I just wanted to make that clear. Okay. And you said the second one was set and forget. I've heard this many times.
Set and forget, which we've encountered a few times with no forensics, which is what you guys are masters at. So you just can't do that. You have to go into your Google. Well, first of all, proper Google Ads is a campaign for each one of your services, multiple ad groups in each campaign, multiple ads in each ad group, testing, having a dedicated landing page for each ad, testing differences in the landing pages. Call and form tracking is vital. So we see a lot of clients or prospects who don't track their leads. So how would you know what's working? And then no click forensics. So they're doing nothing to combat fraud and non-converting clicks. So these are all bad things and cost them a lot of money. Some of these companies are spending 5 figures a month, on ads. So not the wisest path to go down. So you have to put all those pieces in place to have a really good ads campaign going.
No, of course. That's interesting because I totally get the second, you might say the second misconception. The first one, I haven't, to be honest, I haven't obviously worked in this space before, as in the home services. But really one leverages the other, because like if you're going to have ads, for example, right, you're running ads to, let's say you're a fencer, okay, you're doing fences, and you're running ads, and somebody sees your ad and they click on it and they like look through your content, your page, and they maybe go onto their social media and search your brand name. They don't see anything. Then
Exactly.
This could be a scam. I think we live,
right.
Although we live in the world of where technology and pretty much you can order anything from your phone or your computer and have anything in minutes at your house. At the same time, we're living in a world where, as we know, fraud and scams are literally on like an all-time high, like
absolutely,
not just in Google Ads fraud, but there's fraudulent transactions. So on one hand, as though you do need to work on your ads, and of course it's going to get you your short-term lead gen and your revenue up, as you said, get the guys out in the field. You've got to have your SEO and your social media to back that up. If not, people
100%.
And
100%, Jason. It's a vital mistake. And again, you're putting all your lead generation in other people's hands if you're just running lead, and it doesn't even have to be just Google Ads. If you're just doing radio, you're just doing direct mail, you're just doing social media marketing, whatever. If you're just doing one channel, you're putting your business in danger.
Yeah, and when these guys sit down and speak with you, let's say they're running maybe a couple of $1 million a year revenue size company, right? So they're like medium. What would you like? Why would you recommend Google Ads over against, let's say, Facebook ads or other PPC channels? Why do you always recommend Google? Is it because you like to have that structure you talked about before, like having a cascading structure, which is the right way? Why is it Google? Why is it Google, or is it just because that's what you feel more comfortable in?
Great question. Great question. A little of both, actually. To be quite honest, we're more comfortable in Google Ads, but the primary reason is search intent, right? So nobody is really going to Facebook or social media to buy things, but they are going and pulling out their phone when they have a plumbing leak and typing in "plumber near me." And so the intent of the searcher is to do commerce immediately in Google Ads with the right keyword phrases and such, the right topics, right? So that produces an immediate lead, and the ROI on that can be really honed in and come out really well.
Right.
Not to discount social media marketing, it has its place also, but it's more of a top of the funnel. So at the bottom of the funnel is the buyer. They're ready. They're in decision mode. They've done their research, and they're ready to provide a solution. Social media marketing is more, what they call top of the funnel. So people are just sort of searching, finding information about the solutions they're looking for, or the desires that they have, what products or services available. So you can definitely be effective there, but it's a longer cycle from initial lead to sale. And I recommend that too. That's not our forte. We don't go down that road. There are great companies out there that specialize in that, and we say have at them. But if you want immediate leads, it's Google Ads.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking as well as you're speaking, like if I was running, if I had a home service business, I think, I would seriously leverage YouTube, because DIYs and, just generally home improvement content, I wouldn't say is on a all-time high, but especially during COVID, where I shouldn't say we've got more time on my hands, because it doesn't feel like that, but we're at home a little bit more. Like you might find yourself, repairing the skirting board, or, fixing.
Right.
So
absolutely.
I mean, personally, I go to YouTube and Reddit for absolute everything, like anything from, medical to home improvement. So I don't know.
Agree.
Maybe their video content on YouTube could be, for an SEO angle, could be really important.
I 100% agree. It's actually difficult for us to get our clients to go down that path.
Well, it's expensive, isn't it? Production and post-production.
But it would behoove them, in the right size organization, to bring in a person, a social media person, to a videographer, to follow them around, or to get the crews to start taking pictures. I agree, DIY. And then turn that into your blog posts and stuff like that.
Or just even if it's a simple vlog, like a video series, like of what you're doing. Yeah. No. Wow. That's.
Yeah, and it definitely applies to my industry, to the home services, industry. Every single one of them have do-it-yourself information that they could provide. Great value to their prospects out there. So so when they're ready to make a decision and a buying decision, they're going to go to the person who fed them great information along the way for free.
Yes, it's like that social proof.
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
And Mark, tell us a little bit more about how you got into this industry. I mean, you did speak about that, when you were a young lad, you were helping out in plumbing, and then you were in management and other things, but are you a firm believer that niching your industry, like really carving back all of the other audience and just focusing on I'm talking for your agency now, or your business, do you feel that having the niche has, proportionately leveraged your growth a lot more, because, you now know how to execute, because you're learning from other people, and then you're seeing traits or trends and then applying them? Or do you believe that diversity of your avatar is a better way to go? I mean, I know your business is very niche. Why is that? And do you think that is contributing to your growth?
Yes. So, there's definitely agencies out there very successful that can take on any kind of client. I don't know how they do it, quite honestly. And we're even looking at niching down, maybe even a little bit more, and not all home services company. And the reason is, you really need to know the industry of your client. Right? Let's take a plumber, for instance, right? So we know that there are certain high margin services that they do: leak detection, drain cleaning, water heaters, you need to know their industry so you can help them target the right services to do. You can speak their language, you understand their language when they're talking to you. And, and you want, more importantly, you understand their customer, right? So we're continuing to compress and niche down. They say in the affiliate world, I think the riches are in the niches, right? So it's just like every other, most people have a specialty, right? Like I'm a digital marketer, you're a chief marketing officer. There's not somebody in your company doing everything. Like, I can do everything, So I think the same applies really to a marketing agency. Now, I'm sure there's big agencies that have departments that, this is a home services department maybe, and this, somebody else does something else. And that's great. I don't want to get that big. I'm older and very quite content with business as it is right now, quite honestly.
Well,
I think the more you know about your client and their customers, the better you can serve them.
I think that's the underlying meta. The more you know about them, the better you can serve them. I mean, I'm a total advocate in that. Like, listening is so much, there's so much in listening. There's so much to do and to learn just from listening. And I think if you're serving multiple different customers or avatars, it's going to be hard to listen and change when you're serving maybe 5 or 6 or 7 different industries. So great news to hear that you're successfully niching.
The other benefit there, Jason, is when you test something with one client and it works out really well, and you have 10 other clients in the same industry or whatever, then you can easily go to those 10 other clients and here's our case study, with Joe's Plumbing Company. Exactly. And let's test it with yours.
Yeah. So
another great advantage.
Yeah, you can leverage one from another.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And once the tribe starts talking, then it's even better.
Yeah, and I can't even take our credit. Like some of those men and women have great ideas, or they do already great things in their business, and they're willing to let us share that with similar clients. Now we do an exclusive by territory. So, if you're a plumber, solar company, we'll only help your company in your region.
Right.
Right. We won't bring on a competing company.
But, no, of course.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great question. So I highly recommend, for other agencies out there, niching down and really learning your client.
Well, we've had it. I mean, we see it here at ClickGuard, some of the, all of our customers I consider very successful, but some of the real complex industries, complex ad accounts, complex situations, they're always very high performing, individuals or companies or agencies and they've got a specific niche. If they're like e-commerce, they might even just be within e-commerce. They might just be something like,
clothing or something.
Clothing, yes. or even smaller, I know we know one of our customers who just specifically does Nike and Adidas shoes, exactly. And that shoe wear is just Nike and Adidas, and very specific. But like that, it's when it comes to agencies, I think it's very applicable as well, especially for building all those relationships and those standard operational procedures. Having your SOPs and your processes. Right. It's going to be easier to scale if you can apply it. Great, awesome.
100%.
So
you understand your client. Sorry, go ahead, Jason.
No. So Mark, I think that is the biggest takeaway for us today. I'm gonna make sure we in the article that we'll follow up this. Bless you. The follow-up article, I'm sure we'll really make a point of that. Now, talk to me a little bit about how you came to find out about us. First, how did you find us? That's what I'm super interested to know. Yeah, sure. I'm super
tickle in the throat there. I want to say about excuse me, about third quarter of last year, I think it was. So we took on Google Ads about summer of last year. So just started doing Google Ads for clients. Used to do them way back in the day for myself. So we took on some clients who had existing ads accounts, and they were lacking all those things, right? So call and form tracking and landing pages and all that. So we got all that stuff done, and we still saw wasn't happy with the conversion rates on all these ads running. So everybody always talks about, is my competitor clicking on my ads, So we started researching and discovered Click Forensics, and then discovered ClickGuard as the leader in that field. And we examined your competitors and yourself, and we chose you guys, and got some help setting up the account right away. And quite honestly, it was an immediate impact. We started setting rules, started getting rid of bad clicks, robots, spam bots, click farms, we were amazed. I learned a lot actually in that first 30 days or so. I wasn't aware of click farms and proxies and, where all these clicks are coming from. And then learning, forensics, like looking at time on page and bounce rates and things like that to try and fine tune, the ClickGuard rules. So our clients were really happy. We did a little of both. So we reduced ad spend and then increased conversions, and which increased ROI. So,
Great.
Significantly, like 20 to 30%, reduction in ad spend and increase in conversions, simultaneously. So it was like a magic beanstalk sort of, so since, we're trying to get better at it and really dive in the last couple of months, actually, really getting in there and learning, because it is a little complicated. But, we're dedicated to learning it more and more and getting better and better at setting good rules, and not rules that are going to exclude, legitimate customers, but rules that get rid of the waste.
So
we love it.
Thank you. So what you learned was the real truth behind each and every click. That's what you
exactly,
and how important conversions are, and that it's not just about competitor clicking on your ads. It's more about the bigger picture. Like, if this isn't converting and this is, then why am I paying for this? And
exactly,
not investing my resources where I've got those conversions coming from. So we are really, really happy to hear this, Mark. Like, it means the world to us, and we are, and we will continue to be very transparent about what you can and can't do in Google Ads. And one of the biggest things that we've found along the way and on our journey, that optimizing for intent and optimizing for conversions is just that's where you need to be. Like, I agree. If you stay there, if you focus on it, and as you said, like, it's difficult. Well, it's the results, and the results aren't always easy. I mean, if you're going to go and do anything in life and you don't put in the effort, then you can't really expect results. So yeah, super pleased for you, Mark. And would you
gotta want it? That's the theory of life, right, Jason? You gotta want it.
You gotta want it.
So, and if you had that waste, like, so after the fact, after we identified whatever 20-30% waste in budget, and these guys are spending 5 digits, a month. So that's a lot of waste. If they saw that waste somewhere else, like in inventory or somewhere else in their company, they would be
jumping it.
Oh, right. Like, so here it's kind of hidden. But once we discover it, ClickGuard lets you discover it and see it. And now you put in the time and effort to learn it, get good at it, and get rid of as much of that waste as possible. And like you said, actually, intent, so designing your campaigns, your ads, and your copy for search intent, your landing pages, also extremely vital.
Awesome. And do you have a conversion tracking setup on the?
Yeah, we use CallRail, and of course, we're using Google Tag Manager, Google Analytics.
So you can see the conversions inside ClickGuard as well.
Yep. Yep, we
Right,
can
great.
see conversions in there as well. So
That's good.
yeah, between all three, we can see what's converting, what ads are converting, even for offline, conventional advertising, direct
Yeah,
mail,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
radio. We use call, and like radio, we'll send them to a landing page. Go to battleplan-marketing/radio.
Yeah.
For a special deal, and now we can track that. So, direct response advertising basically would
Yeah.
be another recommendation to every company out there. So go read, Dan Kennedy and Joe Polish and Jay Abraham, all those guys. You should never, Coca-Cola and those guys can do brand advertising, but you and I, we need to do, direct response. We need to measure every ad, make sure it is producing for you.
Yeah, you're getting your ROI in every single ad, 100%.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean,
Otherwise, you're shooting blind.
Yeah, I mean, what you can't measure, you can't manage, and at the end of the day,
Well said.
data is is always going to prevail, even if it's wrong.
Yes.
At least you know it's wrong. I think
Yes.
it's like when you go fishing, right? Like if you go fishing and you don't know, like you have no notion of what's below the surface. It's kind of different than if you know, like, what fish you're going after, what fly you're going to use, or what bait, or
Right.
whatever, what tackle. I'm just saying, like, it's a big difference.
Nice analogy. Yeah.
So you've got to you've got to know what you're going after, and then you got to know what's bad, and then you remove what's bad, and you focus on what's good, and then you get the ROI. Then your customer acquisition cost. I mean, I'm guessing the majority of your customers, Mark, would have pretty high acquisition cost, right? Because you've got,
Yes.
I'm guessing a home improvement ticket value would be quite high. Maybe, probably 3 or 4 or 5 grand upwards. I'm guessing they would spend quite a lot to acquire a customer. So I don't know, what does that look like, those metrics generally?
Absolutely. For some of the high margin services, the cost of acquisition is, a couple $100 maybe. And for other industries like solar, might even be much higher than that, over $1,000 or so. So every penny counts, and you got to keep fine tuning. You can never stop and say, okay, I'm happy with this ROI, because, test another thing. Put an orange button there. What does that do? Right. So you should always be testing, and the copy should always be, being rewritten and tested as well. You can never rest on your laurels. There's always,
No.
I imagine you can hit a peak somewhere. We haven't found it. We keep, testing and trying to improve everything. And everybody should keep doing that as well.
Exactly. Awesome, Mark. I think that's a great insight you've given us. And again, I think that's pretty much the wrap for the afternoon. But before we leave, I think that we did a podcast a week or two ago, didn't we? Or early this week.
Yeah, thank you.
Will that be live?
Yeah, that'll. It's coming up. We're about to release.
We can link it. We can link it here as well, like under the description.
Oh, sure. Yeah. When we release, there you go. Great idea. Yeah. So thanks for coming on ours and sharing information about ClickGuard.
Yeah.
Which again, you can't run ads for agencies and business owners out there. Whether it's ClickGuard or somebody else, you have to have click forensics on your ad accounts. Otherwise, you're definitely getting hit by a lot of waste. So find it, cut it out, and enjoy better returns.
Exactly, 100%. So we'll do a bit of internal SEO. I'll link the podcast we did with you, and then we can go vice versa. Great, thank you, Mark. And for any of you guys that are on YouTube, remember to go hit us a subscribe, and we will be launching our free Google Ads course pretty shortly in the next couple of days. So stay tuned. We will be linking the application forms somewhere down here as well. So awesome. Thank you, Mark. It's been a pleasure talking with you, and have a great afternoon.